Hi there. I'm holding up my Indiana Trail 150-mile medal. Wish it was a 100-mile buckle, but it was not meant to be. It's a little report, kind of just telling you what I've already put on Facebook and other places. We went to Indiana, up to the Indiana Trail 100 on Friday. Got checked in. One thing great about the whole weekend was just seeing a lot of people that knew me or that had learned about me because of my accident. And this will be the last time the accident has any effect at all, or is going to be any part of my videos at this point. But the weekend, a lot of people, wherever I was at, whether I was running or before the race or during the meal, it was just very humbling. Lots of people coming up and congratulating me and telling me I'd done a good job of rehab, and they'd been following my story. So that part was very, very gratifying. So the race day, we knew we were going to get wet, and so it's kind of tricky knowing how to dress. At the very beginning, it wasn't raining, so I did have a jacket with me. Off we went at 6 o'clock in the morning, and my goal was to get to the schoolhouse, which is first aid station, which is about, I think, 4.3 miles, and get there in an hour. And I did. I was very, very happy with it, and I didn't push hard at all. Went on ahead to the next aid station, which is out at the Rally Campground, which gets you about to the halfway point or so, 8 something, because it's a 16.67 mile loop basically. And we went through some new sections. They did get us off the road coming into Rally, and I liked that section. It was fine. A little bit of mud here and there, and that was to be expected, but it hadn't rained yet. Met Susie out at the aid station. Susie really kept busy running around trying to meet me at the beginning and at the aid station, the Rally Campground aid station. That was about the best way to see me. So I finished the first loop in 4:20, which was good. I wanted to be 4.5 or less. Went out and did the second loop. By now it's raining. It was actually raining on the first loop. By the time it got to, I think, 9, real light drizzle, light rain. At points it got harder. I'd put on a raincoat jacket kind of thing, a running thing that has vents. Once again, I made it to the schoolhouse right about an hour, and I was really surprised. I really wasn't tired. So all my hard work, especially my core, oh, what a difference it really does make when you're doing those miles. So I get to schoolhouse about an hour, go off, and now we're starting to get into some more mud. There's some stretches, nothing like 2 years ago, but there was starting to have some mud patches. Come back around and get to the beginning again, and I think I changed my shirt and maybe did a couple other things. I didn't touch socks or shoes. I just don't like to do that unless I have to, which I almost never do. Went out for the third. It's still raining, and I get to the schoolhouse again in just a tad over an hour. At that point, I'm pumped. I go, I got this. As soon as I left the schoolhouse, you go up a little incline, and then it's like this little dip, like into a ditch almost. I hit the top and instantly was down. They had put straw there and did a butt slide, and it kind of shocked me. I know that all the fractures were healed. I know they're stronger than ever, but at that moment, that's what I'm thinking. I get up, I'm fine, but I am muddy like crazy. Off I go, and no one was around me. Most of the time, no one is around me. That's fine. Though I did get to run with Heather Lake and a few others now and then. Now on this third loop, now the mud is getting really serious and really churned up, just churned up like crazy. And so now it did look, not the high water, but the mud was getting to be like it was the first year of the race. It was really hard just to get through it without falling, and I did. I took several really huge falls, and where I couldn't catch myself, which is probably good, or I might have broken a wrist. But I took some really, really hard, bad falls that kind of shook me up, and so I probably became more cautious. Tried to get on the edge. Sometimes I even got into the woods a little bit, but boy, it slowed you down like crazy. And then all of a sudden, you could run again. I got to the Rally Campground and saw Susie and Ben Benjamin, who stayed with his cabin, a fellow runner, friend of mine who moved to North Carolina. He came back for the race. He was having trouble with an ankle, and boy, he ended up with a really swollen ankle. Off we go, and I left before him, and now I'm getting to a new section after Rally Campground, and I've never experienced anything like this. It's up on a hillside, and it's you almost couldn't. I don't know how I got through it. I'm holding on to trees and falling and working my way around. And at this point, I'm even doing kind of like splits, and it really bothers me. I'm not hurting, but I'm thinking I'm going to undo, though I didn't want to think about it, but I'm going to undo months of therapy. And so Ben and I both decided it probably would be prudent, though I didn't want to probably drop to just accept 50 miles. So that's what I ended up doing. I got to the schoolhouse, and Ben and Ali, who's a wonderful guy to talk to, they went on ahead. I just decided, I knew I was going to call it. So I ate a hamburger and some other food. So I probably 10, 15 minutes or something. So I ended up coming in the dark. I think it was 9:20 is what it was, but I had sat for 10, 15 minutes. Came out of the woods to go around the lake, and there were my pacers, Bob and Jim, and they had already gotten the word what was going to happen. So they kind of escorted me back to the start finish and went through across the line, and told them I would drop. So I got my medal, and so I would love to have had that 100. Only ultra people say I only did 50 miles this weekend, but that's the way it is. I just had to do the smart thing, which I didn't want to do. Really didn't want to do. So what's the result of it? Well, I'm very encouraged. I mean, when I came out of the woods and saw my pacers, I felt great. I really did. It did not feel like I had done 50 miles. I'd done over 50 miles before, but taken big breaks and rests and naps. This is the first time I'd ever done 50 absolutely straight. I think I sat down twice for a very short time just to change shirt and do some other things. And so, I mean, if it had been halfway dry, Bob and I would have gone out. A year from now, we would go out, and we'll go out. So we've already decided, Bob and I have decided to next year do the race together. No pacer, just do it together. We're both turtles cut from the same cloth, and we'll finish it. So it was good getting back there, good seeing people, and getting a good 50-mile run in, and it really made me very confident about doing 100 miles. So I've got a Trail Half Marathon Run with the Foxes coming up in a couple weeks, a 5K with my granddaughter, then my trip to Poland, then I come back and I've got a 24-hour in Chicago where I'm going to see how close I can get to 100 miles in those 24 hours. Howl at the Moon, and then I've got 2 other 24 hours in St. Pat's and South Bend and Cleveland, and then I've got a 63-hour race for the ages where you get the number of hours of your age. And so I'm going to use that race, and that's Labor Day weekend. I'm going to use that race and use the first 30 hours and pretend it's the Indiana Trail 100. It's not the same trail, but see how fast in that 30 hours I can get the 100 done. My plan also, with Susie's suggestion, is probably this summer go up at least twice up to Chain Lakes and do a 100-mile weekend. Do 50, like say on a Friday, and then 50 on a Saturday. And then sometime I might do 50K and 50K. But get back up there a bit more. And so I'm very confident about next year and can't wait. So there we go. I'll take 50. Oh, by the way, there were a little under 200, I think 193 100-milers, and I think 97 DNF'd. So so that's a pretty high percentage. About half of the 100-milers DNF'd. So it kind of reflects what the conditions were like. But overall, it was a great weekend and a great way to come back.